Hello everyone, how is it going? Welcome back to another video. All right, guys. In today's video, we are going to take a look at the complete guide for a legendary character, and the name of that character is Mr. Freeze. Yes, so I basically wanted to do this, and I've been playing with Mr. Freeze for some time now. So I think I know, pretty much everything that we need to know about Mr. Freeze. So yeah, without wasting any time. Let's get into the complete guide for Mr. Freeze. All right, guys. If you're new to the channel, if you're watching this video for the first time, I would like to ask you to please hit the subscribe button and click on the bell notification for further updates on videos just like this. All right, guys. The first thing that I just wanted to let you know that is that in this video we usually cover the stats, we cover the passives, we cover the artifacts that can be used, we cover the best support characters or best teams for this particular character that we are doing the complete guide on. And then we also talk a little bit about the gameplay. We don't exactly play with this character, but we talk about it, how it should be played. So let's start off. Let's start off with the passives. The first passive is now this particular character is at 3 stars, and it's just a 3 star passive that we are going to talk about today. So let's talk about the passive number one. So 120% extra damage against opponents under freeze. So basically, whichever opponents are frozen, they will have 120% extra damage. We can do it on them. Plus 28% extra damage per used power bar stacks up to 30%. Stacks up to 30. So it's going to give us 28% extra damage per used power bar, and it won't go down because we've already used the power bar. So it will remain, and at the maximum amount we can get is up to 30. So this is one thing that is very useful when it comes to Mr. Freeze, because usually the damage done is when the opponent is frozen. And when the opponent is frozen, you get 120%. And the power bars, if you use extra, the more power bars you use, the more damage you will get, up to 30%, up to 30, which means 28 times 30. 30 times 28, I'm sorry. Now, moving on to passive number two, plus 5 additional hits on opponents without breaking freeze status. So usually, when the opponent is frozen, and if you do a special or a basic, then usually not a special. Let's talk about basics. If you do a basic attack with any other character apart from Mr. Freeze, that frozen effect will be broken. He will get out of that freeze effect. But when it comes to Mr. Freeze, you can do plus 5 additional hits on opponents without breaking the freeze status. So this again helps a lot, especially when you're using Beta Club. All right, frostbite, 9 seconds of frostbite, which means that the opponent will have reduced blocking and decreased, I'm sorry, power generation. Yeah. So power generation will be decreased by 50%, and blocking will be reduced by 25%. Also comes in handy because let's say if you're using Mr. Freeze with Zatanna's puppet, then obviously you will do a lot of special twos, and that is the only thing you will be doing once you trigger Zatanna's puppet, and it will help you to reduce the power generation, and also the blocking will be reduced by 25%. Not that huge thing, but compared to the other two passives, but also come in handy, you know, in the rate. Now, let's talk about the specials. So, Mr. Free shoots an enemy with a cold gun and slams into them. Not that special, actually. Special 2 is everything for Mr. Freeze. Special 2 is the special which will be doing and giving you a lot of damage. This is the only thing that will probably use throughout the entire fight, apart from the specials. I'm sorry, apart from basics. And let's take a look at this. So, Mr. Freeze creates a temporary frost field that deals hazard damage over time and slowly freezes the opponent in it, and additionally increases Mr. Freeze power generation. So, you won't just freeze the opponent, you will also get increased power generation, and 6.61 seconds of freeze for 25% chances to also affect raid bosses. And what this means is that even if the opponent is immune to stun and freeze, even if they are having this modifier called as harmonious, which means that they are immune to stun and freeze, Mr. Freeze will still have this frost field effect, the hazard effect. They will still freeze, but the chances will be reduced to 25%. It's still worth it. Have tried it before against Grodd in the league raids, and it did work out. It did work out. Definitely worked out. So this is one special, the special two, which will be used throughout the entire fight and give you a lot of damage. This is the most important special two in all these special three specials. All right, so 5.48 seconds of 100.9% damage reflecting back to the opponent. This comes in handy, especially in the arena, because it reflects back 100% damage, of the opponent. And it's just like that COW Superman special too. Except that you don't have a shield over here. You just have like a snow effect that happens on your Mr. Freeze, and then after that he reflects all the damage, 100% of the damage coming onto him. All right, guys, so those were the passives, and those were the specials. Now let's move on to the stats. All right, let's quickly jump into the stats. Now, unfortunately, my Mr. Freeze is only having three pieces of gears, and he's only at 3 stars right now. So yeah, I'm basically planning to buy them, buy the gears, but since I've planned it, I haven't received that special offer for Mr. Freeze gears in the store, in the special offers section. So what do we need to do over here in the stats? Which are the most important stats and which stats are not important? All right, guys. So the first thing that we need over here is critical attack damage. You need to max this thing out, and same goes with critical attack chance. So you need to have these two maxed out and get your defense to 60%. All right. So these three things are important over here. Now, there is no need to add any resistance, no stun resistance, DOT, or critical attack resistance. No need to add any lethal attack or fast attack because you're not going to do anything with the basic hits. Basic attacks. So one is critical attack damage, then it is critical attack chance, and then there is defense. You need to take it to 60%. And apart from that, there is nothing required on Mr. Freeze. So it's pretty simple to understand. And as far as the gears are concerned, it's also very simple over here. You need to add 14 attack stats, and the remaining one stat which will be left, one effect, which it should be critical attack damage. And when it comes to the talents, you need to add two critical attack damage, two critical attack chance, and two defenses. Now, unfortunately, I have one defense, one critical attack chance, and one critical attack damage. Once I get him to like 5 stars, maybe 6 stars, then I'll obviously have the other talent slots unlocked and eventually have more of these stats. But it's pretty simple to understand. 1, 2, and 3 has to be worked on. And the gears are 14 attacks effects and 1 CAD, and talents are 2 CAD, 2 CAC, and 2 defense. All right, guys. Now let's talk about the most important artifacts that can be used. So as far as I know, in order to make sure that Mr. Freeze gives you the damage that you need, there are only two artifacts that are very important over here. One of them is Beta Club. Again, Beta Club is a pay to win artifact. You need to pay, or you need to be very lucky when Rise of Krypton is going on in order to get a Beta Club. But let's say if you don't have a Beta Club, then what to do? Then you can go with Zatanna's Puppet. Okay, Zatanna's Puppet is another artifact which will give you a lot of damage. Now, considering this particular character, now this character is having just 3 gears and it's just at 3 stars. Even at this point, I can do 150 million plus damage with Zatanna's Puppet. Okay, and that Zatanna's Puppet is a level 6 Zatanna's Puppet. So this is what I'm using over here. I don't have a beta club. I've tried getting it before, but I've never got it successfully. Beta club. But yeah, this is what I'm using right now. It's level 6 Zatanna's Puppet on Mr. Freeze, and it works out quite well. You know, I basically use this to clean up. Like if there is a 200 million health left, 150 or maybe 100 million health left, at that point is when I'm using Mr. Freeze. But when I get the full pieces of gears, and when I get him to at least 5 stars, try to max out the passives at least. Then this will be a very good thing for me because this character will do way more damage than what it is doing right now. Okay, and when I'm talking about 150 million damage, then also I get some passive effects like passive damage, passive attack, and passive health from the solo raid artifacts. From that particular solo raid. Now let's talk about the current solo raid, which is the last contract. So over here, I have a level 8 God Killer, which I put on the other support characters, and a level 1 God Killer on the third character, and the first character is Mr. Freeze, which is having a level 6 Zatanna's puppet. So this is usually the combination of artifacts that I go with in this particular solo raid. When it comes to a different solo raid like This Is Magic, it's pretty simple. Just put on Zatanna's puppet on Mr. Freeze, any other Zatanna's puppet or any other This Is Magic artifact if you're having, then use it on the other two characters, and you're good for it. All right, so solo raid artifacts also play a very important role in increasing the damage of your particular damage dealer. All right, guys. So I believe these are the only two artifacts which can be used. And now let's talk about the teams. Let's talk about which teams are very good in order to use Mr. Freeze. So the first team that I always like using with Mr. Freeze is Brainiac, Mr. Freeze. And then apart from that, I could also go with, I usually don't go with Zatanna if I'm using Brainiac because it will just take a lot of time. You can just go with something like a classic Wonder Woman, maybe, or even maybe Vixen, because Vixen gives you extra damage on every negative effect that you apply on the opponent. So that is one character that you can use, Vixen. There is another character which you can use, classic Wonder Woman. Classic Wonder Woman will give you increased critical attack damage, plus Brainiac will give you increased lethal attack for the legendary characters in your team. So that is these are three support characters that we can use. We can also I have also used Zatanna over here because Zatanna increases the damage, obviously, as we all know, plus she does percentage damage, so which means you will get increased damage not just with Mr. Freeze but with Zatanna as well. And then apart from Zatanna, you can also go with Girl of Steel, Supergirl, because you need to make a combo over here, like two with two support characters. One is Mr. Freeze. You can go with Brainiac and I'm sorry, Girl of Steel, Supergirl, Brainiac, and Mr. Freeze. You can go with Zatanna, Mr. Freeze, and maybe Vixen, or else you can go with Mr. Freeze and something like Wonder Woman as well, you know, and basically use Brainiac after that too, and Mr. Freeze. So these are some teams that are very useful when it comes to teaming them up with Mr. Freeze. So mostly they will be support characters and everything else. So let's take a look. So Vixen can be used, classic Wonder Woman can be used, and yeah, I wouldn't suggest you using anything else, but you can also try using Arkham Knight Batman, because Arkham Knight Batman and John Stewart Green Lantern gives you extra hazard damage, and since we all know that special 2 is a hazard for Mr. Freeze, you can try using that too. And yeah, you can use classic Superman too, but that is like a very old story right now. A lot of people don't even use classic Superman to reduce the enemy's defenses, because we got much better characters to do that. And yeah, I think these are pretty much the characters that will be very useful to team up with Mr. Freeze. Okay. And yeah, Mr. Freeze is a really good character, guys. When it was first launched, people were very not that excited, because he was only useful when we used a beta club on him. But now with Zatanna's puppet, it has become a free to play character, and you can get the gears easily from the power up chest, or if you are a guy who likes to spend money on the game, then you can also go and buy it from the special offers, if you want. I'm going to do that too. It's much better to buy the gears instead of buying the character directly, because that's more expensive. You can just buy the character from the chests, and then you can buy the gears from the special offers if you want to. All right, guys. So yeah, that's pretty much it about Mr. Freeze. If you have anything to add, or if you think if you have tried anything else up with Mr. Freeze and it worked out for you, do definitely let us know down in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to pin that comment so that other people get to know about that. So yeah, I guess that's about it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, and let's meet again in the next video. Until then, guys, have a great day. Take care and have a good one, guys. Bye bye.